Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
All right. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Can you hear me all right? Is
Oh
everything
man, there's like a copy of your book behind you facing the camera. I mean,
my my
seriously,
agent made me.
Travis, that is sad. Can you why would you think you're coming on here and you're just gonna plug your book or something?
I know. I know. I'm just tremendously selfish.
Narcissistic. Uh, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Are you doing a lot of press or how's it going?
Yeah, a good bit. I don't really have a baseline for what a lot is, but it feels like a lot. I've certainly lost my voice once or twice. So
Oh, really? Well, that's a baseline. Um, so what kind of nut writes a book about a nut?
a very unhinged one, I think. No, I
Unhinged.
unhinged. I That's a very good question. I have many undiagnosed
All right. Well,
issues,
you
I'm
wrote a
sure, but
humor. Okay, let me back up. So I put you on the spot. You wrote a humor book. It's a humor book.
yes,
It's like I'm realizing that really the crux of the books are your little side comments and your little, you know, little asterisks and this is then in a way what the book is kind of where you get down to. It's really just your love for this personality we refer to as Jeff Goldblum, but the book really the voice emerges through your little side comments.
I wanted to make footnotes fun again, or maybe fun for the first time.
Yeah, maybe
ever fun.
I think for the first time. I don't think those are typically something people look forward to looking at. They're usually
My favorite review of the book is it was something like, I know everyone skips footnotes, but in this case that's what you want to read.
right. Yeah, no. I mean, it's the price of admission, and at first I was a little skeptical. I mean, and then as I was reading it, I was kind of getting into. I felt like I was getting into the joke, I mean, I'm not saying that your love for Jeff Goldblum isn't a real thing. I'm just saying, but this is such a obviously, like this over the top love letter to him that, you're just having a good time. And so we get it as a reader, we get into it. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought when I set out to do this, I kept thinking, what does someone want from a biography of Jeff Goldblum? I don't think people want the traditional, here's where he grew up, here's where he went to school, so much as
right.
they want the book to feel the way that watching him feels. This kind of goofy, kind of eccentric kind of
it's an eccentric
personality.
And, right. Yeah, it's right. That's true. The same way certain names come up a lot, like Bill Murray or Christopher Walken. And by the way, is there a female equivalent to these kind of actors? I mean, my friend Ileana Douglas may be a little bit.
Who is with Goldblum in the movie Pittsburgh. I don't know if you've ever seen that
mockumentary, or maybe it's not even a mockumentary. It might be a mockumentary.
It's a mockumentary. It's like a part documentary, part mockumentary.
Yeah,
now, that's a really good question. I think sadly no, and I say sadly because I think that Hollywood just disposed of women at a certain age, particularly more so when Murray, Walken, and Goldblum were coming up, right? So I think that they weren't given the opportunity to remain in the spotlight as
right. Or much. Or given the chance to, given a chance as a, like maybe, I mean, there's certainly been eccentric actresses, absolutely since the beginning of movies, maybe sound like Fanny Bryce, or I don't know, just there's so many different, actors, female actors who would fit into that. But I think you're right. They were kind of disposed of or limited. Whereas
I feel like
and their timing is good too, because
Exactly.
they kind of just came at a time when there was an appetite for quirky.
Yeah, I feel like at some point too, actresses of that age had to, kind of like you said, they were limited to kind of being quote unquote serious. They weren't. I think of Glenn Close, from The Big Chill with Goldblum, and she's wonderful. And she is obviously a more serious actress, I think, than Goldblum is as an actor these days. But I wonder if that kind of double standard didn't exist, would her career look any different? Not that I think we want it to look any different, because it's wonderful, but
well, you do. Is that me?
I believe so.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right.
As I will edit this out. Fortunately, I think you finished your thought. Let me just text this person so they don't. Sorry about this.
No.
And I want to say something. Oh, you do go into this, as you describe it in a way, almost a choice that, like Goldblum made, which is to become a very, very, I'm not going to keep using the word quirky because I've overused it. I've already exhausted it, but let's say eccentric person, and anybody who, there are compilations of his visits on Conan O'Brien. Just go to watch one of those. I mean, it's so entertaining, but unbelievable funny stuff. But he does put his serious career in jeopardy on some level by doing that, because he becomes bigger than his persona as an actor.
Yeah, I think at this point where he is, it's very difficult for him to disappear into a role.
Right.
The two that come to mind,
Jeff, right,
are The Mountain from a couple years back and Adam Resurrected from 2008-ish, and both of those were kind of
put a pin in that one. We'll come back to The Mountain, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just think of them as, now he's so known for his persona and for this kind of character that as Jeff Goldblum, that when you see a movie like that, even if he's doing a fine job acting, it's so hard to take that baggage away. And most of the time it's not baggage, right? Like in a Thor or Wes Anderson movie, he gets to play on that. But when he really wants to disappear into a role, I think it's pretty tough not to see the part of him that's on Conan.
Right. I agree with that. So yeah. But fortunately for him, he's got, these big Hollywood blockbuster, like new house sized paychecks, where, I mean, he sort of doesn't have to really worry. He's sort of been able to kind of figure out how to not allow that to be much of a detriment. Maybe he just wasn't that interested in being taken that seriously. Maybe he's in on the joke. Although I will say, I saw one connection I have to him of two. One is through Ileana, because she is a close friend and we're doing some podcasting together nowadays. So cool. It might be even an opportunity at some point to get Jeff on, because he was a regular on her web series that she did, the IKEA. You remember that?
Yeah.
So he was on that. That was way before I knew her. And the other is my ex-wife, my son's mother, was in a play at Lincoln Center with Jeff Goldblum and come on. The actress, she was on Roseanne. She plays the sister, Jackie, on Roseanne. Metcalf, Laurie Metcalf. So yes. They were, and my ex-wife was in the same play. So, and I kept, a number of times Jeff I was dropping off or picking up the kid and at the theater, and Jeff would, saw Jeff passing me and going into, and I was just so at once tempted to talk to him, but at the same time that felt a self-applied pressure to him in particular. Because it would be this experience. It wouldn't be just like stopping. I don't know. Name any other actor.
Yeah, you see Brad Pitt. You can be like, "I like your work," and he'll be like, "Thanks."
Yeah,
and that's it.
You can't have that with Jeff. The pressure's on. Okay, we got to make this an anecdote. It's not, and he doesn't do it like a Bill Murray, which you pointed out does in his he actually uses that currency and will like stop at somebody's party or something, and just say, nobody's ever going to believe you that I came by. Anyway, so those were my connections. But he was in this play and he played the president.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this part of his
I'm trying to remember what the name of this play is. I remember him and Laurie.
But she's the first lady, and he's had an affair with this young woman that works for him, and it's about, so it's kind of a Clinton-esque kind of thing, and anyway, I'll have to look up I just didn't get around to looking up the name of the play. But he delivered, I mean, there's definitely light moments because he's a jackass in the play, but but it was done with earnest acting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too when you look at sort of his career before the big movies of the 90s, before the Jurassic Parks and the Independence days. He had a much more serious career. Obviously, The Fly, but right. Between the Lines, Next Stop Greenwich Village, even when he's playing kind of quirky characters, it feels a little bit more like he is trying to transform into a character. Or nowadays, I feel like you watch, Thor Ragnarok always comes to mind because he's just literally Jeff Goldblum in space.
Right. He's allowed to just kind of go, let loose. And I watched because one fun thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to, as you're reading Travis's book here, because he's Jeff Goldblum, you can rewatch or watch a number of the movies. It's a fun thing to do. And I had never seen Between the Lines, and it's exactly in my wheel. That I love those finds,
Yeah. That was a great film. Joan Micklin Silver, who directed it, she passed away recently, so I saw it got like a little bit of a resurgence and people chatting about it. But that was one of my favorite finds in this journey Between the Lines. I recommend it to everybody.
Well, it was, in a way, it was Joan Micklin Silver's real first attempt at a broader mainstream comedy, even though it was still extremely quirky, but she had been doing these kind of Jewish theme movies, New York Jewish theme, Lower East Side type of stories with, Crossing Delancey and what's the one with Carol Kane she did before that. Anyway, I don't want to get too caught up, but this was sort of really something with, it's a curiosity. It's worth watching if you can find it.
Absolutely. And the beginning of Goldblum's career is littered with those kind of curiosities.
Hester Street. I was trying to remember the other Silver film. I almost got her on the show. I was working towards it in the last couple of years, but I knew she was not well, so I didn't push it.
Yeah, that was what I encountered, which is it was very sad to find out when I reached out that she wasn't doing too great.
Yeah. Who did you get to talk to for the book?
So let's see. I spoke to Lawrence Kasdan, Philip Kaufman, Billy Crudup, who, speaking of stage plays, was in The Pillow Man with him, Martin Madonna, who wrote The Pillow Man.
So a lot of his directors.
A lot of directors. And then Harry Shearer was a great one.
Oh, wow. Is he prickly, as they say?
I actually know Harry a little bit before the book, and the answer is yes. In the best way, in the way that you want him to be. I'm from New Orleans, and he lives down in New Orleans.
Oh, right, of course, that's huge.
Yeah, and he puts on this great show. Him and his wife put on this great show every year that's kind of like the anti-Christmas pageant. And he has all the local talent comes, like John Goodman will be there, Brian Batt will be there, and
Billy Bob Thornton, isn't he? Is he from there?
I don't know. I think he's from Mississippi, Alabama. I'm not sure, but
sorry.
No. The big folks back home are John Goodman and Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie still have places there. I've seen Brad Pitt around town. I don't know how much time he spends in New Orleans.
You're in Washington.
I'm in Washington now. Yeah.
Right. Hang on. We're going to make it a state. Just be patient. It's coming.
But yeah, so Harry puts on this like wonderful show where they just kind of take the piss out of Christmas pageants and have all these famous people sing songs, like John Goodman singing the Santa Claus song. That's just one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But Harry is definitely as prickly as people say. And and he and Goldblum were the comedic relief in The Right Stuff, as you might remember. They're in it for like 5-6 minutes, but it's pretty memorable.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sure. At the beginning, they do a lot of walking down.
And they go to the bar, and Harry asks for a Coca-Cola in a clean glass. Like all the Air Force pilots are staring at, or test pilots are staring at him.
Yeah, and then they have the sight gag, right?
The switch jackets.
Yeah.
They get out of the car, and you got this 6'4" tall guy wearing Harry's little jacket.
Okay, so the elephant in the room is the big question that people are going to have, or did you get access to the man himself? I know the answer.
The answer is no. It's unauthorized, right. Which bummed me out at first.
But to clarify, Travis, set the record straight. It is sometimes better to do an unauthorized biography, and it doesn't necessarily implicitly mean that the subject isn't helpful or involved. It just means that they have no say in how the book turns out. They give you full control of it. So it's unauthorized in the sense that they're not going to sign off on it.
Exactly. And in a way, I work also as a journalist for the Washington Post, and, we interview a lot of celebrities there. And, sometimes when the celebrity is involved, when the talent's involved, they really want to steer the ship. And you end up, I think oftentimes in these situations, the interviews you will have with the subject are not necessarily as telling as the ones you can have with people in their orbit. And in that way, I think the book would have turned out very differently. And maybe those funny asides and the weird interludes, maybe he wouldn't have wanted those there, and they would have really pushed that. Or maybe they would have said, here's who you can and can't talk to, which I think is something that oftentimes celebrities will try to do, whether or not it's successful. We speak to whoever we'd like, but in a way, I kind of was also more interested again in the perception of Goldblum and how he's become this cultural figure. And I think if you ask the person themselves, what are they going to say? I think you want to hear from people around him and how they view him and how they viewed him over the years.
That's a great point. Were you able to get him a copy?
I'm sure he has one. I have no idea. How is he
not going to crack it open?
Well, that's what I keep thinking about. So if someone were to talk to all your friends and colleagues and then write a book about you, would you want to read it or not? Like, I feel like I would not want to read it, but obviously would immediately read it.
And if he opens up the first, pages, look at the chapter head name. I mean, of course that's a great way to grab him and drag him into the book. He's going to, it's called.
I also dedicated to him just in case,
right. No, it doesn't sound like you have any resentment whatsoever that he didn't contact you. But again, I was happy. It came at a perfect moment. You get, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great fun to read this book.
Thank you.
It's just fun.
That was my goal.
It's a nice change of pace. What's that?
So that was my goal. Put something in the world that'll be fun, be a little entertaining, especially, my day job. I'm covering sometimes some pretty dark stuff. So it was kind of fun to have an excuse to write something pleasant and hopefully entertaining.
Hopefully. Yeah, no, it is. And I'm going to, maybe what I can do, off the record, no promises, but I can try, is I'll contact Ileana, see if she has a direct pipeline to him.
Oh, I'd be curious.
Because if she can ask.
Yeah, and I think they're close, right? I mean, I know they were. Yes. I remember when I talked to the guys who made Pittsburgh, the fact that her and Ed Begley Jr. decided to even be in it is, I think, proof of some closeness.
Yeah. And then she does this sort of also series, which, plays with truth, or has one foot planted in truth and, a larger foot planted in fiction. But this IKEA thing she did, people play themselves, more or less.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, there's something connection there between that and the Pittsburgh project.
No, absolutely. Yeah. It feels like very much of the same vein.
Anything you found out that surprised you, or that came as a real surprise to you in your culling through his life and relationships? And
I think the kind of the boring but true answer is truly how much people who interact with this guy love this guy. The most common email response when I was reaching out for interviews was just, I love Jeff Goldblum. I'd love to talk about him, which is not, I've been doing journalism like this for a while, and that is not normally how people.
Okay, who's somebody who people trash? Kidding.
I think we know. I think we. That is less surprising. There was one particular celebrity who lived in New Orleans who caused a lot of ruckus and was banned from a lot of establishments. And it's Nicolas Cage, I'll say, because it's pretty public.
Nicolas Cage. But it's Nicolas Cage. Okay, well, maybe I blocked him out of my I don't know how. You didn't bring him up in the book, unless I'm mistaken.
I did not, but I was.
He might surpass as the most eccentric celebrity of all, and his movies, most of the times, the ones that you can watch, sit through, are always show off like his complete commitment to that.
Oh, absolutely. I read this. I was doing a Ask Me Anything on Reddit earlier today, and someone asked the most wonderful question. It was, if Jeff Goldblum and Nick Cage were to do Face Off and swap faces, how long before we realized? And I said, I think it would be like right until the Nick Cage as Jeff Goldblum has one of his little freakouts, and then you'd be like, wait, Goldblum never yells. That's different.
No. Again, people should pick up a copy. It's called Because He's Jeff Hoffman. And enjoy it. It's not a novel, but it is it could be an enjoyable vacation book.
And there's a little fiction in there too.
There is some fiction in here. Well, there's always some fiction with Jeff Goldblum and when he's involved. Well, no, but you're talking about the little.
There's a fake interview with him and a one-act play.
The interludes are more. We'll let people just, it's called Because He's Jeff Hoffman, the movies, memes, and meaning of Hollywood's most enigmatic actor. There's even another smaller print, after Nicolas Cage.
I should have added that.
Something to look forward to writing next, another book.
Oh, sorry?
You have another subject for a new book, like Nick Cage, the third rail himself.
I do have another subject. I'm not supposed to talk about it because the proposal's all written, but
very good.
Let's say it'll be, I think, a similar vein.
Okay, I'll look forward to. You'll come back on and talk about it, right?
I would love to. Good.
And you can admit or not that this was your favorite podcast.
Oh, by far my favorite. You understand my insanity, which is the most important thing.
Well, who else? I mean, I was like, I'm not going to read the. When I was pitched, they can we send you a copy? I'm like, you can send it, but I'm not probably going to get it. And then I just came off of reading. It was good timing also because I was just probably getting out of one serious book, and then I was like, all right, let me look. And then Jeff Goldblum erected. What? Started reading it. I'm like, within 3 or 4 pages, I was like, oh, okay, okay, he's having a good time. This is.
Well, thank you. I really was. It was a very fun project to tackle.
Yeah, and you're funny.
Thank you.
I laughed out loud.
Nice. That is my goal. You never know. It's always so weird when you put it out there and you're like, either people are going to find this funny or they're going to really hate it.
Yeah. Well, you got to work hard at getting the word out about it. I mean, I know it can't be easy.
No, it's so interesting because, my day job at the Post, it's obviously easy to get your writing out there because there's a built-in system. Right. So this has been a really interesting and new experience where basically I'm just walking into bookstores and waving it around, just trying to get everyone's attention. Right. I think the cover helps. Lee Cox, the illustrator, I think did a great job at the cover. It's really eye-popping.
It is. It's a great cover. I love the colors and yeah, it really captures him. That expression is exactly dead on. You got the exact Jeff that.
Yeah, Lee is fantastic, and she did all the illustrations on the inside too, which I think are just wonderful.
Yeah, they're terrific. And it's Plume books.
Plume.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you had a good time. Anytime at all. If you ever want to come back, let me know. We'll can talk about, I don't know, some other eccentric or not. I don't care.
Let's do it. We'll have like a Christopher Walken episode.
Fellas. I have to work on my.
That's way better than I could do.
If I in the right state of mind. I was also going to work on the Goldblum, but I didn't have the time to do.
That's a tough one. I feel like I did start kind of pausing a lot between words, and I had to be told, yeah, you got the hands down.
I can do the toss the glasses. I love that Conan moment where he just keeps tossing his glasses. Conan is, what are you doing?
I love the one where he just starts pulling out throat lozenges.
Oh yeah. And he chokes on one. Normally they would cut that out of a show, you'd think, right? But
with him, it's like that's what you want.
The price of admission. Yeah. No, but I kind of ended it now. But I will definitely talk to Ileana because we're going to do a new show. She's finishing a book about she left Hollywood and she's in Connecticut where she kind of grew up, and she is writing a book about like the history of film in Connecticut.
Oh, cool.
So you don't have to worry about being the only one with a book that might be challenging to market. Most of them are, but if you don't live in Connecticut,
yeah.
Even those who do are, why would I want to read about movies in Connecticut? I live here, but I don't want to care. Anyway, but we're going to do a podcast together because I just got connected with her in the last year, about a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago. And she lost her show that she was doing a podcast. And if you have to go, let me know.
No.
Okay. But she was doing a show on YouTube and a podcast, and she had a producer who was kind of co-hosting and whatnot. And the studio pulled the plug on the show, and she doesn't, know how to do it on her own. So, right. And then I just coincidentally had Allison Anders on, and then I had gotten an author. I do some publicity for authors as well. And I got her to go. I got my author who wrote a book about the Mankwitzes.
Oh, cool.
I got her on Ileana's show before they closed it down. And it was a big success. They had a great time. And then I asked Ileana, I said, well, Allison Anders just did the show and she speaks so highly. Would you consider coming in? She go, oh, yeah, of course. So she did the show. We hit it off. And then she said to me, and then I moved up to the Hudson Valley just at the same time she was moving back to Connecticut. And so we both just started talking off, mic. And we and she's like, do you think occasionally you would want to we could do some segments together? I'm like, let me get back to you. Yeah, sure. And then we just became very close friends.
That's cool.
He's really just very down to earth person, and you would never know that, she skated over, Nicole Kidman and was like hooked up for 10 years with Martin Scorsese, and she's just very normal person.
And from afar, she seems really great.
Yeah, she's really just very sweet. So and I'm glad she left Hollywood. She's much happier. Yeah,
I can't imagine being in that system. I feel like it would just.
Yeah, she's getting work. She got something like a recurring character or a regular character on a series. I don't know. I don't remember much about it, but I know. So she'll be doing some still. She's continuing to work.
Yeah,
but it's so thankless for actors like her, and she hasn't actually had like a ton of. She hasn't had face work. She's just not.
Yeah. She's a normal person.
He's a normal person. Yeah, exactly. But she's really smart and she knows. I mean, my girlfriend was over last night. We watched Being There. And have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, it's been I think I've seen it a while ago.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh, you should definitely. I mean, Being There, it's Hal Ash, one of his great movies.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No,
I know that one.
Yes.
The classic. It's so, yeah. So I mean, yeah, like the 1980 movie. Yeah. So, and we're watching it, and why did I bring? Because well, Shirley MacLaine, of course, she's in it, and then I brought it for a reason, but I can't remember now. I brought it up. We're watching the movie for. Oh, of course. So, Melvin Douglas is one of the, stars in it. In fact, I think he got the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in that.
That sounds right.
And he's he's Ileana's grandfather.
Okay, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. So she was actually, as a young girl, she was on the set and she met Peter Sellers, and crazy
That's
stories.
cool.
Yeah. Amazing. She must have like dozens of stories about Jeff Goldblum too.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've got to talk to her about it. And if she wants, I'll mention the book. I don't know if she'll want a copy. I can't read her mind, but we'll get her a copy or something.
Yeah, for sure. We can obviously send copies to whomever.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well,
Great.
is your mom alive? And
yeah, lives in New Orleans.
So
her and my brother are both back home still.
I didn't know if you were going to go spend Mother's Day with her.
I am still waiting on my second shot, and she is immunocompromised. So sadly, but
next year.
Yeah, next year.
I fortunately I got my second shot, and but my mom has very, very advanced dementia.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. So it's sort of bittersweet. I was going to go to my aunt's, but I'm something sabotaged that. So Father's Day, though, I'm going to spend at my aunt's. Yeah. All right, so I'll post this like next week. I don't know what day exactly, but quite soon.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for having me, and let's absolutely stay in touch. Yeah,
absolutely, for sure. I'd like that, and it's nice to meet you and to have read the book, and I didn't just throw it.
Just toss it. We're done. Done with this thing.
How many more? Do you have any more work today on the book? Any more interviews?
No, this is the last one today, so I'm gonna probably do the first time writer thing where I go to a bookstore and look at it. just admire it.
Oh, can you do so Politics and Prose? Where do you go?
Politics and Prose, and Kramer books.
Which one?
Kramer books.
Kramer.
It's in DuPont Circle. Yeah.
I'm trying to I've been doing literary publicity. I work with this other publicist. She's a real publicist. She's at Macmillan, but she takes on some side clients. And so we're, I'm always looking for authors who are not getting the help they need, and we're helping get them events and reviews and that kind of thing.
That's cool.
So I'm one of the things I'm trying to do is familiarize myself with as many of the bookstores that are doing those events, and most of the independent bookstores they're doing now virtual events, and are probably going to start doing live events again, right? Have you been able to book any of those?
No live ones yet. DC is still kind of slowly opening up. I did like an online one with Garden District Bookstore in New Orleans.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think we're going to try to do something with Politics and Prose. They do a lot with Washington Post writers, and they have 4 or 5 locations now. So they kind of, when things open up, they have a lot of events going on.
What about a book? What about an independent bookstore in Pittsburgh?
That's a good idea.
That's a good connection to the book. They may go for that, and who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, I want to do more events. It was really fun.
Think about also if he gets wind that you're doing an event at a Pittsburgh bookstore, that he might be inclined. I don't know. It might get his attention. It's a spark. Let's face it. It's all crazy and unlikely. But who knows? That could be an interesting way to get his attention too, like a Pittsburgh thing, because he still has a love for Pittsburgh, according to author Travis Andrews, rather.
Oh, that's a good idea. And I know the paper there, they did a big story on it, which was
Oh.
pretty nice of them.
That is. Oh, wait a minute. The Pittsburgh
Post Gazette.
Gazette, whatever. Yeah. Is it called the Gazette?
The Pittsburgh Post Gazette.
Oh, Post Gazette. I'm just shocked I remember. But isn't that weird how with newspapers and sports teams you can remember?
Oh yeah, like very random ones that you like saw once.
Yeah,
20 years ago. Somehow it sticks in your head.
But if they did a piece in the paper, that should help you get an event at a bookstore there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll start reaching out.
See, I'm a publicist. That was free.
Well, thank you so much.
I think it would make sense. And then between that article and if you should get an event there, that would be, you might get his attention. I would think that could get his attention even more than just the book existing.
Yeah, I would think so. Something like that. One thing I noticed too is people are tagging him on Instagram with like a photo of the book. So, and he uses Instagram. So I'm curious if.
Yeah. So he knows it exists.
Yeah, I mean, his people know, and I can't imagine they didn't tell him. And plus, I don't think that like Lawrence Kasdan or Phil Kaufman wouldn't have asked him. I feel like some of the people I spoke to, I would find it unusual if they didn't reach out to him and say, "Do you mind?" I could be wrong, but that's my sense.
Right. Interesting. All right. Well, good luck with everything, and stay in touch.
Thank you so much. You do the same. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right.
All right. I'll be in touch after this post, so you'll get we have each other's email?
We should. I can give it to you right now.
Or was I only in touch with your publicist?
You might have only been in touch with Beth. Mine's very easy. I can give it to you real quick if you'd like.
Sure. Let me just... Okay.
It is Travis M. Andrews at gmail.com.
Travis M. Andrews at Gmail?
Yep.
Okay. And you'll see mine because it says Adam at filmwax.com. That's about it.
Awesome.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll send it to your publicist too, and I'm sure she'll.
Yeah, I think she likes to send it to the whole crew.
It'll be on the YouTube show, and if I can schedule it into the audio podcast, I'll do that. But I don't know.
Great.
Either way, I'm promoting. So.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right. Have a good